after Diver's Dream and a few other games in between. Hey, it rhymes. Let's go to the fascinating and relaxing underwater world with Everblue, a game developed by Arika and published by Capcom in 2001 in Japan. In 2002 it came to Europe only, so no, North America never got this game for some reason. But hey, North America also has a lot of Japanese games that never reached Europe, so we can say that we have this one and you don't. And yes, Everblue is a PlayStation 2 exclusive. And unless you've lived under a rock for the past, 30 years or so, then you know who Capcom is. But you might not know about developers Arika. They developed some Street Fighter games, the EX series to be exact, Everblue series that then evolved to Endless Ocean for the Wii, and they also worked on the last two Tekken games together with Bandai Namco. Now that you know who Arika is, or are, let's dive into the game. You are Leonard, or Leo for short. Well, actually no. You start off as a diver in the 80s that was exploring an ancient ruin called Protopolis, 200 meters or 656 feet below sea level. But tragedy struck and that diver died. 15 years later, and now you play as the main character called Leonard, or Leo for short, that had a dream about what happened back then for some reason. Well, I could spoil the entire story right now for you, but I won't do that, even though I think it's pretty clear why Leonard was dreaming about those events. He and his partner Marcus are searching for treasure, and while Marcus is more interested in that sweet cash, Leo is more interested in the exploration aspect of it. As was I, and as you will be as well if you decide to play Everblue. But Leo's adventure will be far deeper than he thought it would be in the island he is currently in, called Daedalus. That name actually sounds more like the name of a ship instead of the name of an island. But hey, whatever. Outside of exploring the underwater world, your job will be to find out what happened in the ruins of Protopolis and finish the job the previous diver started. You will never see how Leonard looks, but I think that was a good decision, because I think the goal here was to make you feel like you are Leonard himself instead of just playing as that character. Leonard won't say much in the game at all. From time to time you will have to decide between two answers that will not affect the story of the game all that much or even at all. At least I only saw one ending in the entire game. As you've already figured it out, on the island you will move a cursor around the screens, similar to a, point and click game. Sure, it's a cursor, but not too bad or hard to control with the D-pad or analog stick, and the point and click nature gives the game a bit more personality. No, don't worry. While underwater you will have full control over Leo. Well, almost, but I will get to that. On the island you have a few people you can talk to and a few buildings you can, not enter but talk to their owners. Like the hotel where you can sleep and recover your energy as well as the air in your diving tanks, this is important. Or a store where you can buy and sell stuff. Now, in the beginning, the island will seem very limited, but as you progress in the story and missions you do, you will unlock new parts of the island with new characters, new shops, and new side missions, even an auction house. Some characters also only appear on screen if you have done certain side missions or unlocked certain coins. If you've done enough missions, salvaged enough items, or bought enough from the shop owners, then you will get their coin, and almost every character on the island will offer you one, which is an indication of their friendship and appreciation for what you have done for them. For you as a player, however, these are just collectibles. If you are a hardcore completionist, then Everblue will give you quite a lot to do and collect, like the coins, all the items that can be salvaged, like furniture or alcoholic beverages. He has to be a madman to drink from bottles that have been underwater for ages, but hey, it's his decision. or even items you have in your inventory and titles. Oh yeah, if you've reached a certain depth, have found a new sunken ship, have a certain amount of single items in your inventory or whatever, then you will get titles. But again, all of those are just collectibles and you cannot do anything with these, but if you love collecting like I do, then this game is for you. In the auction house you can sell stuff you've salvaged to get some cash or even get items that can only be found during an auction. But of course it can get pretty expensive to get those, so make sure you have a ton of cash. Regarding money though, you can sell everything you've salvaged and many items are worth quite a lot, but when it comes to new items, you have to appraise them first, which can hurt your pocket a bit in the beginning. But you are more interested in the underwater world, so let's dive. Once you are underwater, you will have full control over Leo. Well, you can only dive forwards, backwards or change directions. You cannot swim up or down, which seems a bit weird, but well, okay. However, this will change inside ships or ruins, then you will have full control. While diving around, you might find different items under the sand, in between rocks or something like bottles or even chests. You will have a little bit of help here because you have sonars to help you figure out where the items are, but you have to activate those sonars by pressing L1 first. It scans the area and if it shows red, then it found, well, nothing. If it's green, then it found an item very nearby. No matter if it found anything or not, the sonars deactivate themselves after the scan and you have to reactivate them again. So no, the sonars don't stay on permanently, which can be a bit annoying, always having to press L1 just to see if the sonar found anything. But again, you don't necessarily need the sonars, you can find items without them. The sonars just make it a bit easier. They find items with a specific material, but there are also sonars that find specific items. If you progressed enough in the game, then in the shop you will find new sonars that will help you detect unique treasure chests, but once you found them, those sonars will, well, vanish. In itself you don't need those anymore, so, well, it's cool if they vanish. But the metal sonar, stone sonar, etc., they will remain. But if you dive, also pay attention to your gear, because you will need a specific gear to be able to reach a certain depth, because otherwise you will lose HP if you only have a gear that goes down to, for example, 120 meters, but you dive down to 121 or more. So pay attention to that. Also pay attention to the items you salvage, because you will need a certain sack to be able to salvage certain items, because each one has a specific weight. So in the beginning you will only be able to salvage light stuff, but later on you will salvage heavy items if you have the appropriate sack for it. Most of those you can buy. Also pay attention to the amount of items you salvage, because each time you pick an item you will lose HP once, and if you go over the weight limit then you will lose HP gradually, similar to if you, for example, dive deeper than the capacity of your gear allows you to. I mean, you can ask why you would lose HP by simply picking up an item, but I think it makes sense. Because it actually costs energy to pick those items up. And be happy about that, because if Arika were real assholes, they would make you lose HP gradually by just swimming around with those items in your sack. Because let's be honest, the heavier the sack, technically the slower you should move underwater and lose strength, right? But Arika didn't want to be that realistic, because then the game wouldn't be as fun. It would be too much of a simulation, I guess. However, do you see this number here? This is the amount of air you can take with you. I guess the air in these tanks are measured in bar, so 200 bar. You start the game with 200 bar. But this is something you cannot possibly improve. You start the game with 200 bar and finish the game with 200 bar. But you really don't need more than this, because there are ways to reduce the amount of air consumed later in the game. And sometimes it makes it for an exhilarating experience when you are inside a ship, you are almost out of air and you desperately want to swim as fast as possible back to the entrance, or you find a new entrance or exit. For example, in the pirate ship, only the first level has exits because the ship isn't only sunk underwater, it actually is sunk under the sand as well, and thus it would be impossible to dive out of the ship unless it's on the first level. But sadly, only the pirate ship and the ruins of Protopolis give you that experience, because the other two ships, the Viola and the Juno, sadly do not. The Viola is a very small ship anyways, with only one level, and is found in the beginning of the game, so yeah, I get it. The Viola is just meant to ease you in the game. The Juno has multiple levels and there is an entrance in each one. The experience won't be as life-threatening as in the pirate ship or the ruins because of this, but outside of that, the Juno still was a lot of fun to explore. And yes, I also think it was inspired by the Titanic. But still, even the Viola, as small as it is, was quite fun to explore. Not only explore, but also salvage items that will respawn every time once you go back to the surface. So money grinding is very easy in Everblue. Heck, the whole ocean is fun to explore. You see a vast amount of underwater creatures, sunken ships, or even a plane. The deeper you go, obviously the darker it will get, and the first time I went this far down, there was some kind of how do I describe it? Uncomfortable feeling emerging inside of me. It's mainly because you need a light to be able to see just a few feet in front of you, while the rest is almost pitch black, and since I couldn't see anything, I thought I would encounter very dangerous animals and stuff. But this, sadly, is a negative in Everblue. There isn't any kind of danger in that aspect. Sure, there are sharks or these, I have absolutely no idea what they are called. They look like poisonous electric eels or something, but they will not do anything to you, and that was quite of a shame, especially when the first shark we see in the game, which is in the flashback about the other diver in the 80s, seems to be aggressive. But with Leo, they don't do anything at all. Once I realized that there is absolutely no danger under the ocean, then this darkness and very limited view was far less immersive. I mean, that slightly uncomfortable feeling diving this deep will still be there, but without any kind of danger from the underwater creatures, then it just seems like a missed opportunity. And funny enough, this is something Diver's Dream did better, because there were sharks as enemies, and even these fish damaged you. Sure, I mean, from the very beginning you will not see any weapons at all that you can buy, equip or anything, and that should point to the fact that you will not need them anyway, because the danger underwater will be zero, but still, I was hoping for a little more adrenaline. But well, I suppose the developers' intention was just to create a game where you could chill out and explore to your heart's content without any kind of battle, so I guess it's fine. The only danger will indeed only happen when your air goes down to dangerous levels or if your HP is close to zero. One thing Arika could have done a bit better as well is have more ships, caves or whatever to explore. Because you have this massive map, but only a few points where you can go inside something and explore. I mean, sure, you cannot go inside this plane, well duh, but there aren't many sunken vehicles to find at all either. Not even submarines or anything. My point is, This big map seems like a waste for the few exploration points it has. But hey, graphically the game looked quite good for 2001. The underwater world is a lot of fun to explore, the ships are interesting, everything has a good amount of color, and underwater there is no music. It's just you and the noises you make, like breathing or moving an object. Only on the island, and there's only one, there's music, and it's actually pretty okay to listen to. But don't expect many music tracks here at all, because there aren't many. But honestly, Everblue does not need them anyway, especially when the whole point of this is to put you in the role of a diver and let you explore the blue world. Could Everblue have been better? Sure, and who knows, maybe the sequel is. Yes, I own it. But even as it is, this is a really nice game, especially if you just want to relax and explore. We need more games like these, they are fun and quite fascinating.